guys, welcome back to another episode of the Creating with Impact podcast. I am super excited for this interview episode today, so I'm going to keep this intro as short as possible, but I just wanted to kind of jump in and say that if you guys want to support the podcast, go ahead and check out our link in bio on Instagram. You can also find ways to support us at creatingwithimpact.com/podcast. And if you scroll down, you'll see like our partners and all that fun stuff, as well as our Patreon info. So if you want to support the podcast and kind of keep it going, go ahead and check those out. And then also, if you want to get in on the discussions that we're having, or if you have a comment about a previous episode or just anything like that, you can also go ahead and email creatingwithimpactpod@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll also include any shout outs or things like that on the next episode as well. So thank you guys so much, and hope you enjoy this interview today. Welcome back to the Creating with Impact podcast. We are here today with Lucid Illusions. My name is Jen.
My name is Eric, and we want to welcome Jordan, Connor, and Donovan. And we want to start off by asking just what do you guys have going on music-wise? What are your projects you're working on, and what you got going on in the world?
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
I guess I'll start. So we've been working on a new record, and it's definitely a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but we feel really strong about this group of songs that we've got going, and we've already got half of it done. It's sounding really good, and we're really excited to bring it to the world. Besides that, we're still gigging and trying to, just bring light to everyone's day.
Do the damn thing. You know?
Yeah. Awesome. When's that record coming out? Do you guys have a release date for that?
Good question.
Yeah. When we have one, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be next year for sure. That's no.
It is in the works though. Yeah.
Awesome.
And what number studio album is this?
This is number 3.
3. Awesome. Congratulations.
That's
really
awesome.
That's tough. We know it's a lot of work. So
A lot of money.
For sure. I feel that one. What have you guys kind of noticed over like recording these different albums? Have you noticed any kind of changes in how you approach it as you kind of get that experience?
Yes.
I want to lean more on you for your answer on this.
I can do that.
But really, I think the really quick is like every time we go back into a studio, no matter what it is or what we're doing, we always try to come at it at a new angle. But as in the sense of the growth, Connor's the one who did something new. Like he was the mix engineer for all of that. And he's the reason that album came out altogether. So from his standpoint, I don't know. What do you think?
I would say that this approach was definitely different. Last time, first album was in a studio. The second time was in 2 occupied bedrooms in your house.
My occupied bedrooms in the house, thank you.
Started in a bathroom, and we troubleshooted until we got to where we felt comfortable. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of really great things, a lot of really great ideas that came out of it. And it was more of a collaborative experience. It's like we were writing together versus
100%, yeah.
And the ideas kind of came from all 3 of us and let it flow. It took longer than we hoped it would, but
as it does.
I think it came to a really good product in the end. Mm-hmm. So
how has that kind of like collaboration process differed from maybe the less collaborative approach, or kind of what has been your experience around that?
It was only the 3 of us, right? Like we were the only ones we had to answer to. It wasn't a situation where, we have a producer in our ear or like any sort of outside being saying, well, I think we should do it this way for, one reason or another. It was all up to us. So everything from, the choice of song to the mic placement to literally everything, we chose all of it.
Tough.
Yeah.
Short answer, really tough. And that's why it's something new took so long. We said 2.5 years?
I don't think it took that long.
It was
But
about 2 years.
it took
It was
a while.
one day a week.
Yeah, we was 1 day a week for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
That we met and tried to do this album. So whenever there is something to be said about too many like toes in the pie, but
I don't think that's a saying.
it is for me. They hate it when I say that. But yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, And there was a point where, I mean, for a lot of something new, I just kind of like stepped out and let them go crazy because 1, I'm just the drummer. What do I know? And 2, it's just a lot easier sometimes when it's just like, hey, you focus on your instrument, what you're good at, and I'm not going to throw too many ideas your way. Whereas now working with a producer and being in like a studio, we can kind of all be like, hey, that sucked, or hey, let's change this part for all different instruments.
We freed up our CPU to be more available.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We can crunch more numbers.
Yeah.
In terms of like the creativity around it, do you feel that like you get to express yourself more, or when you guys were fully driving the bus, were you like being a little more experimental and taking more risks? Or?
I would say we were taking more risks.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
We get to be a little bit more creative safely with this way, but we definitely had to get more creative and take more risks with something new because of just what we were doing. So, I mean, there's an ebb and flow with both.
I'd like to throw in there, I mean, a lot of that came with a lot of Easter eggs. There's small things in there that you won't catch on certain sound systems that you'll catch on other ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's Foley in there. There's ideas that just came about when I woke up at 4 a.m. and decided to throw something in, or one of these guys showed up at 9 and they were like, oh, I've got this. Like, let's throw it in there.
Let's put a real shotgun.
We've got a real shotgun.
Yeah, I know.
We got an
There's a real
N64.
shotgun.
We've got N64 cartridge.
Yeah, there's a blowing and the slap of an N64 cartridge in there somewhere. If you know where that's at, good job.
There's a bleeding metronome.
My entire Dungeons and Dragons group can be heard talking in Hit the Road. Thank you. So we were playing Dungeons and Dragons one night, and I think it was you. He was just like, "Come here for a second," and he pulled us into the recording room, and then we just sat there and chatted for 15 minutes, and eventually we were like, "What are we doing here?" And he was like, "Nothing. Goodbye. See you later." And then all of a sudden, everybody was on the track.
Well, everybody was asking if we were planning on killing them.
Yeah,
and that was like, it felt like a hostage situation.
So all of those voices are real and genuine, and it's like he said, a lot of Easter eggs and cool things happen. But
Oh, that's so awesome. I feel like definitely the waking up at 4 a.m. thing with an idea that seems to happen, and I don't know why. Like, yeah, like it's just like normally you would think it's the least convenient time for something like that to happen.
It's definitely not convenient.
Yeah.
dream journals, man. Dream journals are huge.
And to act on it's the harder part. Like,
actually be like
that idea was blues riff with no name, the stutter edit that leads into like the whole crash of the system and stuff.
Yeah.
I woke up and I'm like, I'm gonna break this right now. And I made it janky and it just kind of built into a cool song, you know?
Nice.
I was proud of that one.
Nice. So kind of in the realm of studio versus live, what are kind of like your favorite things about both? What do you kind of tend to focus on more in the studio versus live?
So in the studio, you have the ability to add your studio magic, right? So that means that all three of us can be in 5 different places at one time, playing 5 different instruments. Whereas when we're playing live, it is just the three of us. So right off the bat, in that regard, we are limited when we play live, right? But I don't like to view it as being limited. I like to view it as we are being pushed to be innovative. And I like to think that that's where some of our big sound that we put out comes from. And I only say that because people have told us, numerous times that for 3 people, we have a big sound. And I like to think I like to think it's because we approach the songs live differently than in the studio.
And that,
right?
Can I break off really quick?
Sure.
And it's 2 different experiences. We are almost 2 different bands. Like the studio version is cool and awesome, and we're super proud of it. We love it. But then live Lucid Illusions is a whole different beast. It's a whole different genre almost.
Yeah, because in the studio you want it to be perfect or as close to perfect as possible. I've learned you're never going to make it perfect, but you want to strive for that, right? Whereas live, not that you don't want to aim for perfection, but it kind of goes by the wayside because there's more important things to do than
Putting
be
on a
perfect.
show.
Yes.
We're not reciting our album, we're putting on a show.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you want to play something the way it sounds on the recording, then just go listen to the recording. There's no point in coming to a show. But if you come to a show, we need to give you a new experience, something that is unique, and it's going to be different every time too. Because
we don't practice, no.
But some days it may be we're just having a bad day, and maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. And some days we're having a good day, and that's a good thing or a bad thing. Right. You really never know. And there's so many different factors that go into play when you're playing live that every single show is different, and we don't play things the same way twice.
One big thing that the biggest difference, the amount of sweat that gets put into the band.
Yes.
And that's the amount of sweat live is redonkulous. It outweighs the weight and mass, I think, of all 3 of us put together.
Oh, it's crazy.
Especially in Texas.
Sorry. You made me think of something interesting. When you're writing a song, do you think about it from like a duality perspective of like, this is what we want it to sound like on the album? How are we then going to translate it live? Or do you do one and then the other and then try to translate it?
Yeah, I think it comes from both angles.
Yeah, because typically for most songs, I will bring the core of the song to the table, and then we make it ours. And every song is a different approach because I don't really get to choose how a song gets written. The song chooses how it gets written. After it gets written, that's when you say, okay, is this song even worth keeping? If it's worth keeping, do I bring it to the table? How do we approach it on both sides? And we usually start in the rehearsal room. There have been a couple songs where we pretty much write write it in the studio. But in general, it starts in the rehearsal room. So we already have an idea of how we want to play it live, and we know
we get to build it in the studio.
Yeah, because at that point, you know what you like and don't like about the way it sounds live. What can you do to counteract that in the studio?
It's almost like a self-perpetuating cycle, because then you take that into the studio, change it, and go, oh shit, we could make that really cool sound live this way.
Yeah.
And then you bring it back and it sounds different live than it did 2 weeks ago after you get done recording it, because you have a new idea or whatever.
Yeah.
It's always like working and changing.
And that's what he was saying. He's like, it's never going to be the same twice.
And there's a lot of songs that we play that, you know, a year, 5 years ago, doesn't matter. We played those songs live in a totally different way than we play them now. And to us, it's probably like the most noticeable. To the audience, maybe not as much, but it also depends on the song and what changes, right? Because there's some things where we may change up the rhythm of something or add new cues or extend something or shorten something. You just never know. And
a lot of it happens on the fly too.
Yeah.
Especially with guitar solos or jams or, you know, whatever. He'll go off on a tangent, and Connor and I are just like, all right, cool, we can sit here for a minute.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that we really like to play into what we're all doing, and if someone ends up doing something, whether they intended to or not, now you almost have no choice but to roll with that.
We're almost a jam band, but not quite. You know what I mean? It's like, we're as close as you can get without being like, oh my god, they're a jam band. You know what I mean?
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that like improv thing where it's the yes and.
Yes, and. What have I been saying to the band for the last 6 years? We actually started doing improv exercises in the van on the way here, actually, as a matter of fact, to 602 a couple of months ago to practice that. And not only, it was mostly for stage banter, to get stage banter kind of up, but also with music, exactly, is the yes and, right? Like, I hear you, I'm going to play into that, and then Connor hears it, and then we all just kind of, you know, but you have to be careful to not just do that. You know, there is a cue to be like, all right, let's bring it back.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you got to remember, it's still about the song and the delivery. It's not always about how much shit can we throw into this song.
Right, and how much can we solo, and how, you know, off time can we get.
Yeah, because you reach a point where people don't want to hear that.
Just nobody cares.
We don't want to hear that.
Cool, man. You did it.
What did we do last night? Guys, we reinvented the wheel.
Right? Holy cow.
And I feel like that's a big part of playing live too, is taking the audience into account with things, because, you know, you don't really have an audience in the studio most times. So kind of in that vein, how do you guys like to engage the audience and get them like hyped up about, you know, playing live, involving them, that kind of thing, building the community?
I mean, for me, legit, that's all I have. So I've been commented on that I never close my mouth when I drum. I'm just a mouth agape kind of, but it's because I'm always singing and lyricking or lip syncing, I guess, to the words of the song to keep myself on time, because I don't count as a drummer. But regardless, yeah, for me, it's a lot of movement, a lot of like singing and dancing, and like I was a theater kid, obviously, and so a lot of that comes from eye contact and like looking at you and making sure that you're looking at me, and then pointing you out and giving them one of these, and then getting back to it. But for you, you're a lot more in people's faces.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we all kind of have a different role in that regard because of what we are kind of stuck doing, right? Like he's literally stuck behind the drums. He can't come out from behind the drums, and yet we still find a way to make it happen. Connor, you know, being the bass player, he has the most freedom because he is not necessarily stuck to the mic unless he's doing harmonies or if we get him to sing a song. Whereas I, being the singer, I have to be behind that mic half the time. So when I'm not, I'm either trying to just vibe or I'm trying to get out there. And so we all kind of have like a different approach to it because of what it is that our job is at the end of the day, right?
I think Connor gets the most compliments though out of all three of us, because he is just so like vibrant on stage. You can't look and not see Connor. He's simultaneously on his side of the stage.
Well, unless he's not on stage.
Yeah, or that's the other thing. Unless he's not on stage and he's in the crowd with you, and you're like, wait, where'd the bassist go? And then he taps you on the shoulder. You're just like, oh, what the hell? What are you doing? How are you here?
No, it definitely happens that way.
So yeah, if you're ever come dance with Connor during Sweet Thing, you won't forget.
Are you searching for a natural way to find peace, focus, and balance in your busy life? Look no further than Monk Personal Essential Oil Diffusers. Whether you need to unwind after a long day, boost your energy, or simply find a moment of calm amidst the chaos, Monk has the perfect blend for you. Say goodbye to stress and embrace a more mindful approach to life. And as an added bonus, you can use code CreatingWithImpact for 10% off. Your journey to a happier and healthier you starts now. Alice mushroom chocolates are crafted with the finest quality ingredients and infused with the essence of premium mushrooms to support sleep, desire, and energy. These chocolates offer a decadent fusion of rich cocoa and earthy goodness. Whether you're indulging in a sweet craving or seeking a natural way to unwind, Alice Mushroom Chocolates are the perfect choice. Order yours today at alicemushrooms.com and elevate your snacking experience. As an added bonus, you can use Creating with Impact 15 for 15% off your order.
Just to bring us back into the theme a little bit, are you guys all full-time musicians? Is this your full-time gig? Are we trying to navigate this well?
It's full-time, but yeah, it doesn't mean we don't also have other full-time jobs to compensate for the lack of paycheck.
How do you guys find yourself navigating some of those challenges of like living your life and staying creative? I mean, it sounds like you guys stay really busy. You're here once a month at 602 Brewing. You guys are working on another album. It said you took in a bathroom album, the last one. I mean, staying busy, I mean, it's tough to navigate all of these things and stay creative, come up with new songs, be adventurous. You know, do you have any insight as to how you guys have managed some of these things?
You have to be willing to make sacrifices, and everything in your life, including this, you have to make a sacrifice for it, right? I could say so many things to that, but really that's all it boils down to, because you can't be at 2 places or 5 places at one time. You have to focus on one and then the other, and all are important. You know, your personal life is important. You know, making money so you can survive is important. Doing this to us is very important. Giving back to our community is important. There's so many.
I think I can surmise it sometimes. So that's when we've played Sunday shows here before, right? When we first started, have we never done a Sunday?
No.
Well, we've done Sunday shows outside of Houston, where it's been a trek to get home, nonetheless. And so Sunday into Monday, we all have day jobs, right? 9 to 5s. Well, they do. Luckily, I don't, so I'm kind of speaking for them. But I am a full-time musician. I teach a school at Rock, so I get to play music all day, every day, and teach kids and have fun with it. So I'm kind of exempt from this at this point. But regardless, I guess the best way to surmise it is getting home at 3 a.m. just to wake up at 7:30 to go to work at 8 after you had just played a show to 400 people is the hardest thing I think to do. And that I think can surmise the sacrifice that kind of gets made is you're almost living 2 lives.
It's very humbling.
Yeah, and that's going and have I used to work at Freebirds and rolling burritos for people who treated me like human trash after I had just been practically worshipped on stage. It's just this dichotomy of, man, like, what is going on? It gets really hard to stay creative, but also you just got to be insane enough to love it as much as we do to freaking do it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the F-word, so.
Yeah, you can say whatever. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. That's awesome. Are there any kind of like tools that you use or practices or anything that kind of like help you stay sane, or do you just kind of like go for it and just go all over the place?
I was going to say guitar picks or something.
I think everybody kind of has a vice. I mean, none of us are really reliant on anything like that.
Believe me, nobody is. There be some issues.
But I think, honestly, as weird as this sounds, like meditation and having a good life at home to come home to, and like having good jobs that we do enjoy at the end of the day is, as ass as it is to wake up at 7 after going to bed at 3, you have to find the good things amongst the stressful things, and I think that you have to be able to pick those good, flowers out of the weeds as much as you can. So like a good ride home from Bastrop for us, a good 2 hours is awesome. We eat that shit up so we can have a good week, and then Friday we come together, and a good rehearsal, and that can push you to the next week. So it's the little wins that we take along the way.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Kind of the same thing?
I would say recharge time. So just having time with friends and stuff like that is like huge for me, because you start getting through the same routine. You've got to find that outlet for yourself. And that's either the separate spectrum of I like alone time or I like time with friends. And those are depending on the day how I recharge, and then I come back into it and I'm ready to roll it again. You?
Man, I wish I could tell you I've figured it all out at this point. I have not, but I take it day by day and I'm doing my best. Time with my wife and my new baby girl is always super important, and I cherish every moment that I get with them. Also, alone time is also very nice.
Very rare for him at this point.
It's extremely rare for me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like a challenge. But at the end of the day, it's the kind of thing you have to take it day by day. Just like with anything in life, because things change, people change, situations change, and that's what life is about. If you're here to live a stagnant life, doing the same exact thing every single day until you die, what kind of life did you really live? So I really enjoy all of the challenges that get thrown at me and trying to navigate them. Doesn't mean it's not difficult sometimes, but that's what makes us human, and what makes us unique, and what pushes us to grow at the end of the day and become better people.
You brought up your daughter and your wife, and I'm just curious about the expectation inspiration for the band that you have and your own growth personally, musically, and how you kind of navigate that with your home life, which, raising a child's really tough. I don't have any of my own, but I've got 2 nephews. I can see it. My friends are raising children, and I just know that, being on the road or traveling or even being in the studio for weeks at a time, spending a lot of time away from home. I mean, how do you kind of find those spaces?
Quite honestly, it can suck at times. It really can. But at the same time, it really makes you appreciate what you have and treasure those moments. And I would think that if I wasn't doing this, then maybe I wouldn't treasure them as much. I wouldn't appreciate them as much. So it really does, in a way, make you hone in on what's important. And for that, I am forever grateful. So,
Well put.
thank you.
And despite not having kids, the social life is tough. You are turning down friends' birthday parties. You are, going to band practice. There are so many things that you kind of, you mentioned sacrifice.
You give up a lot of friends. Not that they're not your friends, but you don't get to spend time with them.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys do to kind of keep your social life intact while trying to, chase a dream, not necessarily, but like to kind of reach some goals musically?
I've been lucky enough to have the best group of friends, period, full stop. We've
got great friends.
And we've been friends since we were all 13. We started high school together, and we are still, for the most part, 100% all in contact with each other. Whether that be every single week through Dungeons and Dragons, that's kind of my big thing. I'm actually running a campaign with our friend band 307 Departure right now. Shout out to 307 Departure. Also, Freedom and Bart, you guys are killing it in the D&D campaign. But I've been lucky enough to where they have supported me throughout high school. I knew I wanted to do this since I was 8 years old. So, that's all I've talked about. I've always been music. I've always been a little shitty punk rocker kid who's been in his garage trying to make it or whatever. And for whatever reason, this amazing group of people decided, we're going to stick through it, and we're going to do it. And for the first 2 years of Lucid, those were the 6 people that came out to our shows. It was just pretty much my group of friends, and obviously the spattering of the others, but for the most part, it was the Cults, and we call ourselves the Cults because we're more or less a cult at this point. So even if it's a day of a show or at shows, or they're coming to help roadie shows for us or what have you, I've been blessed enough to have such a supporting group of people that even throughout the craziness that is trying to chase a musical dream, they have been there to be a social network with me and kind of allow me to do my thing while they're all there, giving me the space necessary, but also being there enough to show their support. And I love you guys, in case you ever watched it. I love my friends more than I love most things I'm playing about.
I think we all do, actually.
Yeah,
Donovan has some really kick-ass friends.
Yeah, and that's, through the band, they have made, a family through them as well. So.
That's awesome. No, that's so important, though, to have that community there, especially when you're doing creative pursuits, and especially with being in a band. It's so good to have that supporting community there. So I'm guessing this is probably going to be one of the things for this next question. But what keeps you guys coming back to pursuing your goals in music, even when, because I'm sure that you guys have had shitty days with it. So on those shitty days, what keeps you coming back?
I can only count to 4, and this is the only job I'm good at. Full stop.
That's a great answer. He can't count to 6. Any song in 6/8 is out.
It's done. Lose it after that. Guys, I'm lost.
Honestly, I think it's the people, really, because again, we make a lot of sacrifices, but doing what we're doing, just spending time with people like y'all, that is what makes it worth it, because people recognize what you're doing, and people are also kind enough to show that they care and they want to support in any way they can. And that is one of the most beautiful blessings in life, because at the end of the day, well, yes, we're asking for support because you have to have support to do this. It's also not like I'm coming to you directly and going, will you please support my band? Will you please come to the show? Will you please buy a shirt or this, that? Money? Right? But we don't do that. We're not beggars.
Right.
Yes. We just...
For 30 cents a day, you can help us not be beggars.
You can adopt a band member.
It's terrible. No, but...
The support.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I would like to think we have put ourselves into a position and created something that makes people want to support, not necessarily because they want to support you as an individual, but because they want to support what you're doing. And I would like to think that what we are doing is creating a community and trying to give people an avenue where they can come and just be a person. We don't care who you are, where you came from. We don't care about the color of your skin. We don't care about your gender or what gender you prefer, for that matter. We don't care about your political standpoint. We don't care about any of it, because at the end of the day, the three of us, for one reason or another, may not agree on certain aspects of that, but we don't let that stop us from making music together, because we love making music together. And same thing at shows. Who are we to say, you can't come here because you're,
XYZ.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to do.
The best way I can say is, have you guys ever seen Jimmy Buffett live or the Grateful Dead? I know I said jam band, but hold on. Don't leave yet. Don't click away. So no, I've seen Jimmy Buffett 4 or 5 times, and beyond just him being James Buffett, you would see people out there who have $4 million in their bank account, in a coconut bra and a grass skirt, next to a dude who has $4 in his bank account, barely making it by. Both of them arm in arm doing fins together, and that's the kind of energy that I think all three of us want to do. It's there was a book that Jordan forced us both to read called Find Your Why, and I think the why, obviously, like you just said, is people. It's that community. It's the people watching this that smile whenever we make jokes, or smile whenever we mess up, or whenever I drop a stick, inevitably drop a stick, and
Allegedly dropped the stick.
Allegedly. Did you see me drop it?
It's a black stick.
You never know. When it's dark on stage, man, you never know. But it's that whether it's 3 people, 300 people, 3 million people, if that connection you see right there, and that live music, that's what it's for. Is that heartbeat? You get it, you feel it, that smile. It's that's it right there.
It's so important, and I can definitely personally say that I've had bad days, and then we play a show, and we get to interact with people, and it's one of the most beautiful things.
It's the best thing ever.
When a stranger can lift you up out of your rut, and they have no idea that they did that for you. And the ironic part is that we're the ones on stage.
And we're
supposed to be doing that for other people.
Yeah.
So it's this never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Basically, that we feed off of it, people feed off of it, and
it's gonna go forever.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys care a lot about the impact you're leaving on people, especially after a show, or maybe even in the middle of the show, and that's beautiful. To take it a further step, do you think about the legacy that you guys are trying to push towards with your music, where you might want to bring your community with you as well when you are trying to raise your own standard?
I have a lot to say about this, actually.
Sure, yeah, go. You take the lead, bro.
I mean, first of all, I think everyone wants to be remembered as badass. Let's just put that out there. But it's about so much more than that on top of that, because people remember how you treat other people. That is a super important thing. And we want to make sure everyone knows that they need to treat other people with kindness. And if they can't do that, then they may not receive it. And that can also be a never-ending cycle, right? So leaving a legacy of kindness is super important to us. On top of that, I really do believe that we have a responsibility to people, if that makes sense. I guess I need to explain, right? We have a responsibility to, kind of what we were talking about just a minute ago, bringing people up and allowing people to have a good time, regardless of, where you come from, who you are. It doesn't matter. If you're going to come to a show, it is our responsibility to make you feel like you are the most welcome person in the room. And if you don't feel that way, then we didn't do our job. So I definitely want to, and it really just boils down to kindness and being open and honest with one another. I think that is super important. And you can get that across with people without, I don't want to say without trying too hard, but by just being, yourself.
How many times have we goofed on this stage? It's right out there.
Yeah.
And the words immediately after is it's live music. We are who we are. I can't go back in time and not drop the stick.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry,
There's a lot of feels about dropping that
stick. Now. The fake ketchup that they try and fake spill on people.
On top of all that too, I know that all three of us, and I'm sure everybody, at some point in their life, especially in their younger years, looked up to somebody, probably somebody famous, And while we may not be famous, I would like to give back to the community what I feel like I got from watching people on stage, and because I was inspired. And if it weren't for those people that inspired me, I would not be doing this to this day. And I have to, carry the torch and pass it on to the next person, and inspire the next person so they can continue to do this. Because if no one was inspired to play music, no one would play music. And you know, you would be listening to it in your car.
Podcasts.
Oh,
can you believe it?
That's it.
Wait, was that too meta for the real? Oh, hold on.
But like, everyone needs music, though. You know, nothing against podcasts, obviously.
Sure. I mean, you use even music in the podcast, so.
But you know, we need a little bit of all of it. And this would be something that's just not here if no one inspired someone to pick up an instrument. Because why would you want to if you're not inspired? You wouldn't want to. And music would die just like that. Blink of an eye. So we have a job to do.
I'd follow that too. I would just say that like it kind of goes in line with what he's saying, but like it's that family dynamic for me. Mine's about building in the community, but I like that I don't have to be a center point for this person to meet this person, and they have a mutual interest and they become friends after that. And you know what? It just creates this like it's a nice community.
It's a space.
You know? Yeah.
It's a space for people. You know, whether that be digitally or physically. Exactly. That I think you nailed it on the head. Is to leave that legacy of it doesn't matter who, what, where, when, or why you are. We can all come together. Period. Full stop. Cup right now. Over me. Done.
Love and peace, man.
Love and peace. It's peace and love, not love and peace.
Whatever.
Come together. You missed that part of the message.
That's what we get from that. Drop acid, not bombs, guys. Remember.
Yes. Yeah, it's all about the community for sure. And I mean, I feel like that's something that, I mean, I would think that a lot of people probably realized that was necessary, especially after, 2020 and that whole mess. Like the access to live music during that time was so limited, if at all. I mean, understandably, but like, I think it made a lot of people realize how important that community is and how important music and art and community and all of that really is. Expression, period. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's super important.
You want to bring us to our last question?
Yeah. So I know it goes by so fast. So usually we like to end the podcast with kind of ending on a note of goals and the future and all of that fun stuff. So that being said, what is your dream project and or who would you like to collaborate with the most outside of this band, obviously? You can say this band.
Paul McCartney, where are you at? Paul McCartney, I'm a huge fan. And I'm not saying that from a cliche standpoint. I love
He's not.
everything about that
Hey, guys.
man.
Hey, he's not.
He's awesome. He's a badass. He's an amazing songwriter.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing songwriter.
Can it be dead or alive or?
Yeah,
Dead or Alive, yeah. Open it up.
Bob Dylan's alive or dead? Wait, Bob Dylan. Wait.
Is he alive? He's alive.
Because I know the biopic just came out with Chalamet. Now I'm concerned. I think regardless, Bob Dylan would be like because he's renowned as one of the, if not the greatest songwriters of all time. And just there's something I feel like that I could tap into with him. I've always felt this way. Yeah, and it's like that one. I'd like to write a song with him. I feel like I could.
That'd be a great experience.
Yeah, dude. That's.
It'd be cooler if we wrote a song with Paul McCartney.
I was thinking the Strokes, I could say they're probably the highest on the pedestal for me, but I didn't hold a lot of pedestals as a kid. I think I've grown up with the understanding that I like collaborating with random artists, people that are newer, people that are up and coming. I don't have anybody in particular, but I do really appreciate those experiences. We did 365 days of covers 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I remember that a lot of the covers that I picked were indie bands that, I got, one guy was like, hey, thank you so much from the band page. And then I got another band page. He's like, awesome job. And then somebody commented.
Where we could be like part of the community.
And that same guy's grandma commented under and he's like, hey, we're coming to see you at blah, 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 blah. Thinking it was their page, but we were just covering it.
Again, that community.
The invisible web.
Awesome.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Well, just to kind of close up, where can people go to find your music, see what you guys are up to?
If you just Google Lucid Illusions, LUCIDILLUSIONS.
Is that how you spell it?
Those illiterate ones out there. You can Google the name. You'll find us pretty much anywhere. It's Lucid_Illusions HTX on Spotify. On Instagram, thank you. It's Lucid Illusions on Spotify.
Google it.
YouTube. Anywhere you get music, Amazon, all that stuff. We're not on X, formerly known as Twitter.
We are there. We just don't use it.
We just do not believe it. Hey, guys, we're not sorry for that one either. We're not sorry for that one. But Facebook, Instagram, like that sort of stuff, the meta side of it, you can find us.
Do you want to tell them about our upcoming show?
Oh, yeah, dude. And so October 4th, so a week or two from when this is going to be released, we're going to be at Houston Houston's Karbach Brewing for Karbachtoberfest. That's October 4th. Again, we're going to be playing. I don't know if we're headlining that show or if like that's our show, or if we're a part of something, but we will be on that stage. We will be playing. And you can go to our socials for all the updates and things like that. And I do want to say personally from Donovan, a huge thank you to everybody who came out to No Music, No Life, which would be the day before this gets posted. That event is everything to me and my family. So thank you to everybody who came out and showed support for that. New album coming out soon. Hopefully.
Very, very far in the soon future.
Yeah, but so let me say, new music coming out is sooner than that.
Yes.
New music will be sooner than the album. Yeah.
We're working hard in the background.
Please,
Promise.
trust us.
We see you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us and taking a little time. And yeah, we really appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
As always, you can find me at creatingwithimpact.com or on Instagram at creatingwithimpactpod. You can also check out Creating with Impact on Patreon at patreon.com/creatingwithimpact, where you can become a subscriber and get all sorts of extra content and resources. 10% of all of our Patreon proceeds benefit Mental Health America, which advances the mental health and well-being of all people living in the U.S. through public education, research, advocacy and public policy, and direct service. Leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to this podcast or join our Patreon, and we'll give you a personal shout out on the show. As always, if you have any stories or successes you'd like to share, or if you'd just like to get in on the conversation, you can email creatingwithimpactpod@gmail.com.